Before we start, a quick warning. If in some angle you find hair like this, please understand that I'm having headphone hair because of multiple takes of this, which is not really going very well. So, welcome to the first episode of Midnight, and there's going to be a podcast style discussion with our guest, Kirtana Ravichandran, my best friend and an expert in laughing at people. So today we are going to have her laugh at us and many other things as well. The point of argument today is going to be the increasing grip of social media on all our lives and the question of privacy and morality in the social media atmosphere. We are going to start off small and trivial and then try and talk about the gray areas that can't really come to a conclusive kind of statement, really. So let's just see where it takes us. Opening statements, come on.
Okay, what I think about social media.
Yeah, and privacy and morality.
It becomes very confusing when you take morality and privacy to social media. Why are you looking back at me? Are you laughing at me? Look at who's laughing at who.
I just got reminded of the previous fails and I couldn't stop laughing. Continue.
So, yeah, it becomes a bit confusing, and I think the morality and privacy that applies to non-virtual world, like the real world, doesn't. It has to be tweaked. That was grammatically wrong?
No, it was not grammatically wrong. It was just evolutionarily long and scary. Wrong. Evolutionarily long.
So,
because when you refer to the real world as non-virtual, usually the social world is called the virtual world because it's under the belief that our lives are the real world.
yeah.
But then when you said non-virtual world,
It was like
related
virtual is everything, and then
It's
okay,
like-
non-virtual world.
That's why I was kind of thinking we should take that conversation with, the metaverse and shit becoming the next big thing. And then you were like, non-virtual world. I was like,
So yeah, it's different, in non-virtual world and virtual world. Let's keep it real world because it's more,
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me the creeps.
And I don't think people really know where to draw a line. Where your privacy ends and where it, where
The line between the virtual and the non-virtual world.
Yeah, like how far is it okay for you to share, and what things are you okay with sharing? And because one sentence that you say today and say tomorrow you're becoming a CEO of some company, people can just use that particular sentence against you at that point, which is not fair because everyone learns and grows, whether for good or for bad, but they do keep changing. So what I was 5 years back, I'm not the same person right now. But again, that does say, a lot about you back then, and from what place have you come to become the person you are right now. But I think it's very unfair to bring it up to say, when you're choosing a CEO, to bring a sentence that the potential CEO said 5 years back. That's not fair. And the same goes to kids as well. In a hypothetical situation where you find something about yourself that you posted, ages back, say 10, 15 years back, somebody bringing that up now, it depends. Because again, they are not using that as a criteria to judge you on something. Intention matters. I can see some disapproval coming. What is it?
There was a lot in what you said, when you talked about kids, when you talked about someone becoming a CEO, entirely different lines of arguments, because on one hand you're talking about someone's job security, and on another hand you're talking about the welfare of a child.
No, I'm talking about the welfare of an adult that might be affected by what the adult did when they were a child. Do you understand? Like, I am 23 years old now, and if you try and find something, I've made few, experimentation
Didn't you
videos.
talk about a child posting something
No,
online?
I said if somebody finds something that you posted as a child 15 years back.
Oh, I thought you were specifying two separate arguments. Okay.
I think that's what I said. You should rewind and look at the video. But let's talk about this, So yeah, these days adults are already, facing a lot of mental issues. Like every other person of our generation today, they are going through something. So things like that when you post on social media, and I mean, it's not about posting also, it's about bringing that up at an unnecessary time. That I think it's unfair. But when you bring that up, say I bring it up with my best friend, say I bring that up with you, maybe my intention is not that bad when it's about you. But if I'm talking about some random person online and I look at their childhood photo and that's basically me judging them, which is not fair. Yeah. And this was about what social media can do over years, when you have it long term, what it can do. But again, if you look at marketing, there is this specific reason, or there's this specific area of operation that social media is really good at, like spreading news. For example, if I need help and say the legislation is not helping me and I think they are not fair, social media has the power to help me, really.
Questionable.
Yeah. As in?
Social media has the power to help you, provided you have a grip big enough on social media, or if the social media gods pay attention to your particular case out of some random luck.
Yeah.
Because again, you have a social media presence and I have a social media presence, but if I got into trouble and if I were to post something stating, oh, I'm in trouble, I need some help, chances are it's going to go unnoticed, like a bird taking a shit in the wind. Unless it lands on someone, no one's going to notice.
Are you assuming that we both have the same number of followers?
I mean, I'm assuming combined both our followers at the moment doesn't matter for shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but
that
again,
kind
if
of
I
argument is
use
very
the
good.
hashtag feminism, then it'll just explode on the internet. But again, there are a lot of people doing that all.
Yeah.
So it's not.
It will probably
it's
just
luck.
be one in a couple million posts.
Right. And in terms of privacy, it's again, we don't know where to draw the line. Now that social media has suddenly, become this way of lifestyle. It has become, part of everyone's lifestyle these days. And when that happens, it's kind of hard to consciously figure out where to draw the line.
Should there be a line?
Yes. Because
and if there is a line, should that line be personal or legislative or bureaucratic?
all
As
three
in
put together.
Set by the organization, set by law, or set by personal boundaries?
I think if personal boundaries are here, and then the legislative rules are here, and what's the other word you said?
Line
The
set by
government
the organization.
regulations, right?
Legislative as in law, and organization as in the business, and personal as in the users.
Oh yeah. So if personal, business, law, and business
you're
and law should always be there, and the personal boundary, I think it's set by ourselves. How far are you okay with putting yourself out there? And that differs with person to person, but I think business laws again should differ with businesses to businesses, because say you are in a very niche market where what you do is your USP, then posting that online, I don't think it's good for your business, right? But if you are in a very common, say in retail business, and it's almost the same operation, but you just want to show your team spirit and how you work passionately, then that's pretty, you can say that's invading privacy, because you're showing the whole everyday life of your whole team and the business as such.
But usually when businesses are doing that, they take consent from the whole
Yeah.
crew, and the people in the shot are those who are agreed to be
That's
in the
what
shot.
I mean by laws set by businesses, like basic rules that, oh, those are government laws, right? Okay. Nice.
But again, that argument is kind of not applicable in this point, because there's not really a sense of moral question to be had when you're looking at the social media profile of, let's say, Sainsbury. No one's going to go to Sainsbury's profile and scroll like, oh, there's some juicy shit here, boy. No, they're not going to do that.
But Sainsbury's share or Sainsbury's revenue can go very steeply down if somebody finds a rat in their warehouse and they take a video of it, or a rat in their some very sensitive section, say freezer, the rat will die, right? Say some sensitive,
I mean, a dead
area
rat
of it.
is still a rat where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, so then it's bad for their marketing, whether it's posted by the business or not by the business. Am I deviating from the topic a lot?
You just hit a home run out of the point of
Okay,
argument.
bring me back to the topic. What am I supposed to
Social-
be talking on?
We went from social media, privacy concerns, and questions of morality to a dead rat in a Sainsbury freezer.
Okay, let's come back to privacy concerns. What happened? Okay, let's come back to privacy concerns on internet. I mean, right? It's very blurry, the line.
Exactly, that's why we have to lay down some boundaries to. If not, you're going to end up with a dead rat in Sainsbury's freezer again.
Yeah.
So, stick to my hypothetical question, which is a profile with a lot of posts in it. Should there be personal boundaries, legislative boundaries, or boundaries laid down by the businesses stopping people from scrolling with no concerns to privacy? I mean, to which your argument is, if someone's posting it, they're open to having it seen.
I would
It's
say
a gray area.
yeah, it
I
is
mean,
a
to
gray
me.
area. I think maybe to fix this, if enough number of people find this blurry or the gray
That's the
area
point.
very risky.
People are not.
Yeah.
Which is the question I'm asking you, why, and should people be?
Yeah, I think definitely they should be concerned about this, because at some point in the future or some point in your life when you're already in a bad situation and some something from your past comes out because of the account, the profile, then that's just going to put you down even further, and that's something you did to yourself.
Yeah.
And what I would say is maybe giving more control to the user. Like, for example, if I have a profile, I think if I have options to choose from, say I post a bunch of contents, say I post marketing content and my personal content as well, and say even in the personal content I have something that I post for everyone, all my acquaintances to see, and also my very close friends to see. If I have the choice and if I have the control over my
Instagram
account,
does something similar.
I don't think this
Close
detail.
friends list.
Yeah, close friend is there, but I don't think when you post it, you can just post to your close friends.
It's only for the stories,
It's,
right?
yeah, it's only for the reels, and not even reels, just the stories.
Mm.
So if I have the control to post anything, literally, whether it's posts or reels or stories, to
And
my
filter
close
it.
friend.
Filter us
Filter.
and make it visible to a select
Yeah,
audience.
So close friends, acquaintances, and then business account. So you have 3 layers of which I choose the visibility to people. That can add more, control. That'll give me more control to organize my privacy. And even then, if I choose to just put it all in public, then it means I'm okay with doing that, which is fine. So I think if social media platforms comes with more options to, groupanify, what's it called? To group a bunch of people from the other in terms of their visibility, I think it'll be better.
I'm trying to think of an argument where this
Would be a problem.
Yeah. Recently, in the last 6 months, I came across this situation on the news where a particular celebrity. I mean, when you're a celebrity, you need that social media presence, unless you're someone like, let's say, Keanu Reeves. Has no social media profiles, but is legendary. So this particular celebrity had a decent sizable social media following, very active social media presence, lots of photos, reels, videos, and again, all public obviously because they're a celebrity. So what happened was someone took a particular picture of theirs and started circulating it in the wrong channels.
I mean, don't that happen with every celebrity these days?
Exactly, but most celebrities don't mind. But this celebrity said exactly what I usually say, and she got grilled for it, and I felt so bad for her. Because what she said was, she made this public post saying, don't do this, it's not nice. Just because I'm posting a picture publicly doesn't mean you can take it and do whatever you want.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Your dialogue, yeah.
For which people said, oh, you're a celebrity, so you want all the fame, so you post everything publicly, but then when we do something, you say, I'll post pictures, but I shouldn't do anything. That's not fair. So if you don't want that, just make your account private and don't post anything. Which is a very logical statement, but in this context sounds extremely stupid. I mean, her livelihood depends on her fan following. So they're both right. So when the celebrity said, I post publicly because I have to post publicly, doesn't mean you can take it and do whatever you want. And then this person saying, if you're so concerned about what we are going to do with your pictures, then just don't post anything and be private. Makes sense. What do you say?
I think, like I was talking before in the other examples we were talking about, I was that person who was saying just it's in the public account.
Yeah.
So, but I think in this situation, it's all about what you choose. Like,
But it should it be up to choice?
I would say in this situation, what the other person did was wrong. But if it should be a choice, I think yes. What kind of law do you think you can put on this?
Again, that's kind of
I mean, there's this platform which doesn't let you take screenshots. What platform is it?
I mean, I think right now everyone's doing something similar.
Yeah.
What happens in Snapchat is the moment you take a screen grab or a screenshot, the person gets a notification saying this person has taken a screenshot. And in Facebook, you can have a certain privacy lock of sorts where it would stop people from sharing your pictures to others.
That's in Facebook?
Yeah, and it can lock your profile picture and stop people from taking screenshots of it. So there are features like that in place in most of the prominent social media platforms, but in this case, this kind of is a tangent to the main argument that we are having, because this case got resolved pretty quickly because she's a celebrity and she made a complaint to the legal authorities and it was handled swiftly. Same doesn't apply to regular people. If you were to post a picture publicly accidentally, and if someone were to take it and make of it as they wished, and if you were not okay with it, if you posted something similar and if you made legal complaints to handle it, the response might not be as swift. So
do you think cybercrime departments don't help common people with this?
I'm not saying they don't. That's a very big blanket statement to make, but what I'm saying is they just pay more attention to more prominent figures, which is not how it
I
should
don't think
be.
that's just the case of social media. Like that happens literally everywhere else as well. You know, when
Another
there's a
question for
celebrity,
morality.
yeah, when there's celebrity complaining about something, even if it's
It just gets more attention.
yeah. So that's not a social media problem. It's basically a problem.
No, I'm scoping it to social media. And my question is that, so this I am able to ask as a question to you because this is something that media channels covered extensively, again because they're a celebrity. But imagine how many other people are there who have public accounts with their pictures being misused, who can't really say anything because no one is paying attention to their worries.
Yeah.
That's my question. So if you're someone who has to post something publicly for whatever reason, but you still want your pictures and your content to be treated with some dignity, is it wrong to expect that? Like, what is legislatively forbidden and what is morally not fair? There's a huge margin. So
yeah, I think if you're not okay with it, like I said,
make it private, like the guy said.
No. I think, but in this situation, even if the social media platform gives you the control to, maybe not let anybody else share the picture or take a screenshot of the picture of a particular picture, but that does affect your business as well. What if a producer wants to use that picture and see if you fit a character just virtually before they actually call you? So yeah, you can't really do it, or it might affect you if you do it. In this situation, I think it's about the cultural.
It's a gray area, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't really say anything. What can you do in this that will not affect your business, and that will, I don't know.
Exactly, you can't say anything conclusively here because it's not a black and white kind of a situation here, and because the moral question here is not really a legal question. It's hard to answer, because if it was legal, you can say by this law it's illegal, and there are laws in India that states you can't do so and so with someone's content. So yeah, there are legal provisions, but when it's out of the legal provisions and it's just a question of morality, there's no straight answer. So
that's why it becomes important for you individually to set up a boundary for yourself to the extent that you will feel comfortable with, and you won't mind, even if, like for example, if you set up a boundary that you'll be comfortable with, you'll know what kind of content you are okay with posting within that boundary and what you wouldn't post. So yeah, it's individually, it's required to be set individually than having a mass rules for it, because you can't do anything else, right?
So basically what you're saying is you can't force morality onto the crowds. You can't legalize morality.
I think you can educate them, but how will you force? If there is a way, I think you should do it. But I'm just not able to see a way that you can do it. Because see, in this situation that you mentioned, the celebrity's business should not be bothered, and she also doesn't want this particular group of people to use her image um, wherever they're using. But what rule can you put in that will be applicable to this situation and that will not affect any other situation if you extrapolate it to the whole mass using social media? What kind of rule can you put in?
What if there's a legal framework where personal boundaries are respected and not just legal boundaries? What if there was a provision in law that gives you the freedom to say, this particular person did this which I'm not comfortable with, and so I want it taken down? I can contradict this idea that I gave because while it would give a lot of people a bit more control over their content online, it can also be a very easy tool to throttle creativity.
It's like this recent YouTuber that we saw.
Feuds?
No, the other Indian YouTuber that we saw who was taking down.
My name is Jeff.
I don't think I should be mentioning.
Oh yeah. Edit. Okay, so without the edit, it wouldn't make sense. So what we were discussing was massive Indian YouTuber posts something questionable. Small Indian YouTuber questions it. Big YouTuber tries to cancel him. Small YouTuber fights back. But the scales are tipped.
Yeah.
That was the discussion. And if the big YouTuber is watching, we didn't name you, so piss off.
Yeah. So, what were we talking about?
How the rule can be used to throttle creativity.
In that situation that I mentioned, you can use the same, every rule can be manipulated to one's own advantage. So, rules should be carefully laid. But personal boundaries and respecting other people's boundaries, that should come from within, and that should be in the culture of a society, not through rules.
I'll try and build another question through the same argument. Would you say social media has encouraged immoral behavior, not respecting people's privacy? Because imagine the same thing, but in a more offline, off the grid kind of a situation where you meet someone and they just ask you a question like, 15 years back, what were you doing?
Imagine that.
Who were you with? While that you wouldn't encourage in real life, why are you fine with letting that happen online? Is social media kind of encouraging immoral behavior?
Okay, before I answer this question, I want to ask you, why do you think what I say will matter? Like, why are you asking me this question?
Because you're having a discussion.
Like, okay, why did you bring me in to this podcast to discuss on this topic? Like,
to hear your opinion?
Why do you think my opinion is worth for people in your audience?
Why do you think any of our opinion matters? No one gives a shit what you're saying. No one gives a shit what I'm saying. We're just doing it because we can do it.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Exactly, but we are not saying some stupid controversial shit. We're talking about something that actually matters.
Okay, so what was your question again?
My question was, is social media encouraging immoral behavior?
Yes. that's again me generalizing the whole thing, because in very specific cases it's better sometimes more than a physical reality. Because for example, I mean, my examples might be stupid, but just leave that. In some cases it might be better than physical reality, but in generalizing it, no. Why are you laughing at me?
It's because
Am I not making sense?
no, you are making sense. It's just when you're like, why do you think my opinion matters?
No, because I really
opinion
had that question in my mind when you were asking me this. It was like, recently when we conducted interviews to professionals for our dissertation, it was like, I am asking that person for his experience. So why are you asking me? What makes you ask? What
I
makes
just
you
wanted
think?
to hear your opinion.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So stop thinking about it and listen to my answer now. Why are you well,
Oh god. Imagine if everyone just started asking that, because everyone can ask that. You go ask someone, what do you think about global warming? Why do you think my opinion matters? Everyone's opinion matters as much as it doesn't matter. It's equal. Because if Leonardo DiCaprio answered, why is global warming so important to be discussed, everyone pays attention, even though he's just an actor and he flies private jet trips everywhere and he's probably contributing more on average to global warming than any average person ever would. But every average person would listen to Leonardo DiCaprio talking about global warming, but not you or me, who are evidently more impacted by it. He's probably living in a luxurious condo that is temperature controlled, but you or me are getting grilled out in the sun and the heat.
Yeah.
Our opinions matter more than Leonardo DiCaprio's. But whose are people going to listen to? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
At least we can put it out there,
Yeah. When you were asking, all the serious question about my opinions, I was like, why
And you're
is
like,
it?
why does my opinion matter? It doesn't, which is exactly why we get to talk about
Okay.
it.
Now, getting back to the question.
Oh god.
I forgot the question again. Can you just edit all of this?
Yeah. The question was, and you partially started answering it as well. The question was, is social media encouraging immoral behavior? And you said yes, it's
Yes.
generalizing and all that. But
Yeah. Generalizing it over the mass.
it's this new word that everyone uses, normalize. Social media has normalized certain
Yeah.
questionable behaviors.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen? Oh my god.
What?
I mean, I just thought of TikTok and my brain was flooded with cringe. Have you seen this video in TikTok where there is this nurse, or I don't think she was a nurse, I think it was just some regular mom. Her baby died and she made a TikTok about it.
I mean, that depends why she made it. Like, when it was dying or after it died and she had it in the video.
Yes.
She had
Yes.
it in the video?
Yes. I was just
Wow.
trying not to say it to minimize the chance of YouTube not letting this get monetized, which it definitely won't.
Not yet. Maybe in the future.
Imagine that. That would be a perfect comeback for this video. We'll be like, this video was posted so many years ago, but Facebook decided to cancel. Facebook? YouTube decided to demonetize us for something we said long back. We're just setting ourselves up for failure.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly, we should still say it.
Yeah.
As the legendary Dave Chappelle said, do not let... Oh, we can't say what he said.
Why?
Because he's...
The copyright strikes?
What? No. I mean, yeah, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Exactly. He can say it, but I can't say it.
I mean, you can.
But basically what he said was, don't let people silence you. in a very Dave Chappelle way, which I fucking love.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know why it's easy to do that online?
Yeah, because people can't slap you for it.
Yeah, and you can be anonymous when you do all of that.
Anonymity is a very powerful tool that is unfortunately misused a lot. Yeah.
And you know, when you're given the option to create multiple accounts and there's not really any verification happening on who you are as a person, like obviously I can have multiple accounts and there's no verification happening on me to see if I am the person, and I can use those different accounts to do anything I want. People can trace back to me only if they go to the cyber security, and not everyone is going to go there. And so there's this hatred spread through ghosts online.
Ghosts?
Yeah. I mean, the multiple accounts people use to anonymously
nice
hate
terminology.
on.
Ghosts.
But that does affect, people
mentally.
Yeah. We are posting this out in the public, and we wouldn't give a shit, if blind hatred comes towards us, but it will still, be sad. We are putting in this much effort to, make this content, make this discussion.
I just noticed in that camera, it looks like I have something in my stomach. It's just my jacket, so viewer
He's not
discretion
pregnant.
is advised. No, I was thinking something much more.
Oh, okay.
Like I probably just.
Okay.
With what you just said, the whole, we are able to start multiple accounts online with, fake accounts and all that. Another question popped up in my head. That is a discussion that has been happening for quite a while, people being able to start fake accounts, and there has been very often suggestions to fix that in the form of people asking Facebook, because they're the biggest social media platform right now, people have been asking Facebook to ask for users to, while making the account, submit your name, your mail ID, your phone number, and your ID, a passport or a social security or an Aadhaar. That would help. I mean, I can see why that line of argument comes from. It'll be very easy to associate a person to their account and verify who they are, but that again becomes a privacy concern.
Yeah. But imagine in the future if everything is going to go virtual, and where we'll refer non-virtual world as the reality world. In that kind of a situation.
I mean, we already call the non-virtual world the real world, because it is.
Okay. So are you saying we are already there? Aren't we?
Hopefully we always will be.
What are you saying?
You said in the future we will refer to the non-virtual world the real world. We still do.
No. I am saying in the future when we'll refer to the real world as non-virtual world.
Oh, where you're saying virtual is the norm.
Yeah. In that kind of a world. Already everything that we have is out there online. So then we can use it to, use our passport for ID verification. I don't think that will be of that big of a privacy concern, because it's already out there in the future.
It's a very scary line of thought.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, which is completely true, you're saying in the future the blur between...
Basically Black Mirror episodes coming to reality, in that kind of a future.
Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. But in that kind of a future, I think this will be of a positive solution than of a privacy concern, because it's already out there. At least we can make a good use of it.
I mean, if you ask me, I think that kind of solves more questions than it creates, the whole asking for ID proof and creating social media accounts. But I can also see very strong arguments as to why it shouldn't happen. For example, let's say in terms of the problems that it solves, if someone's going to be spamming or stalking someone without, I was going to say without consent, and nowhere it happens with consent. So if someone's going to be spamming or stalking someone, you can easily see who it is and file complaints. But at the same time, if you are being stalked or spammed by someone with significant social influence who you can't really legally have a battle with, in such a case you might want some anonymity in filing a complaint against them, because if they knew it was you that filed the complaint, they can personally mess with you.
Yeah.
So as much as anonymity is the problem, it's also necessary.
Yeah.
People should be allowed to have ghost accounts, and
That's
they
why-
shouldn't be allowed to have ghost accounts.
That's why it's very hard
To control social media, and in a way it
to
shouldn't.
set rules.
Exactly.
What do you consider and what do you leave out?
Because if you because if you're going to talk about a country like, okay, I'm not going to name the country to make sure YouTube doesn't demonetize it, which it already will. There's a particular country that controls everything you see and say on social media. In a way, in a perfect world, that works, but at the same time, perfect is subjective. We shouldn't let someone else tell us this is perfect. So I guess this question just never ends.
I think all of this boils down to
Us. It boils down
Yeah.
to us.
And
If
what-
you are watching this and if you are trying to see if what we're saying is stupid, it probably is. But the key takeaway is social media is always going to be chaotic, whether you're for it or against it. From our discussion, it's probably very clear that we're not very for it, we're more like against it. But we understand
it's a necessary devil.
exactly. It has to be there, it has to be imperfect. And this can be the most cliched kind of conclusion to give it, but the conclusion is be very aware of how imperfect it is and be very aware of the dark side of it, the ghosts of social media. Be aware, be mindful of their existence, and tread carefully. Just careful where you go, and careful what you say, and careful what you do, but do it anyways. That's what I would say. End notes,
Oh,
ending statements, closing
I would
statements.
say it all depends on individuals using the social media.
Yeah.
It's all the rules that you set for yourself when you use social media, and I think that's all matters. If you're okay with everything, doesn't matter, you know.
Don't be okay with everything.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be okay.
Exactly. Be okay with what you're okay with. Don't be okay with everything.
Exactly. When you decide what you're okay with, it shouldn't come from, you know, the social norm of what everyone is okay with. No, what you are okay with. You know, that's all that matters, and you should be very conscious, and you should not leave that. You should not give up on that when using any platform, any social media platform.
Yeah. Have your own moral constraints. Value it, protect it, cherish it, and encourage other people to do so as well, because in social media you can't really force morality. No one should, but we all should individually have it for everyone's welfare.
Yeah.
Reasonable conclusion.
Yeah.
Reasonable conclusion. Controversial.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes.
So until next time,
you.